Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing, everyone? Let me see. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing, everyone? Let me, there we go. We're live. We're live on Facebook. I'm going to share the link in our Facebook group so everyone can watch it, because today's a very, very hot topic. I'm going to go live on Instagram at the same time and speak to you about it. So yes, live on Facebook and live on Instagram. A hot topic, as I already said. Last week, I was live to speak about 5 challenges that we come across when we're sequencing. Hello, Yogi Ando, how are you doing? For those that are on Facebook as well, let me know who's here with me, because I can't see your names popping up. But last week, I was live to speak about the challenges that we experience when we're sequencing. And for those that weren't with me, you can watch the replay on Facebook, or you can go to the live videos on Instagram and they will be there as well. I spoke about lack of consistency, inconsistent students, finding inspiration, not having a theme, intention, or purpose, and teaching to instead of teaching for your students. And I explained all of those things in the chat last week. So if you weren't there and you're still interested in watching it, go to the training on the Facebook group or here on Instagram. Today, I want to follow up with you and speak about how to then gain confidence in your sequencing. Because becoming aware of the challenges and knowing what the challenges are is one thing, but how then do you overcome them? So that's what we're going to speak about today. In the comments, write down what you find challenging, or maybe tools that have helped you gain confidence in your sequencing as well. Before I start, I want to quickly remind you of the International Yoga Teacher Summit, which is happening from the 19th to the 21st of August. And I'm hosting this summit in collaboration with about 20 other teachers and organizations to help you build a sustainable and profitable international career. That means that you can travel abroad and teach in different places, but also maybe create your own YouTube channel or teach online, create your community, and build the international career from wherever you are, teaching all over the world. So the people that are joining us will be giving you tools and tricks and strategies, but we're also speaking about the things that have helped us and how we help other teachers build a very similar career, but focus on their specific purpose and the aims of the goals that they have in their career. So if you haven't already, sign up. You can find the link in my bio on Instagram. And I'm going to quickly share with you here in the Facebook group as well. So it's in the comments, you can find it there. And let's get started. So 5 ways to gain confidence in your sequencing. Hi, Hadir, how are you doing, lovely? Nice to see you. So let's get started. So last week we spoke about the challenges, and I said having this awareness is one thing, it's really important, but how then do you overcome it, and what can you do to actually gain confidence and make sequencing easier for you? So I'm going to speak about your self-practice, creating your own sequencing bank, repeating sequences and cues, cultivating consistency, and that's a little bit of repetition too, and offering private classes. So starting with your self-practice, this is really, really, really important. However, among teachers that I work with, and I have experienced this in the past myself as well, our self-practice is often the first thing we neglect when we start teaching. Because you feel that when you're teaching, you're on your mat already, you're moving, you're with your people, and your self-practice becomes part of your teaching. However, when you are teaching, your focus is on your students, not on you. And the thing is that as a starting yoga teacher, it can be really, really difficult to actually find that balance. During your self-practice, you can try out new things. You can try new themes, new asanas. You can find new expressions, new variations. You can play with props, play with music. There's a lot of opportunity for you to explore and to try and to find what works, to find out what doesn't work, and what you would actually like to include in your teaching. So your self-practice is really, really important. And I believe it should be a priority when you're teaching, especially if you want to gain confidence in your sequencing. This is number one. Number two is creating your own sequencing bank. Now, for those that have done the English for Yoga Teachers course with me, and we're going to start a new course in September. So if you're interested in this, have a look at the link in my bio or in the Facebook group. You will learn how to create your own sequencing blocks. And these blocks help you to structure your sequence and always have little bits that you can use in every sequence. So a sequencing block consists out of 3 to 5 asanas that are always the same. So imagine that you've got a standing sequencing block or a seated sequencing block or a supine, so you're laying on your back sequencing block. These blocks you can then use for every sequence because they already provide a lot of stabilization and opening so that you can use them and repurpose them in every sequence. So this is something that you will learn in the English for Yoga Teachers course. That's one way. But then you've got a sequencing bank. So a sequencing bank can be a folder or a notebook in which you keep your full sequences that you love to teach and that you love to repurpose. So having your own stash, your own pile or your own collection of sequences ensures that you never have to invent something new, but that you instead can reuse the same sequences over and over again. It also means that when you're short on time, you don't feel stressed because you still need to write your sequence because you have your pile ready already. Yeah. Hi, Carlos. How are you doing, darling? Nice to see all of you. So I recommend that you write 5 to 10 sequences with each a different physical focus. And then you define intentions or purposes that go with the sequence. So for example, you can have a heart opening sequence that can have an intention or a purpose of literally opening the front body, maybe strengthening the upper back, improving posture or relieving tension in the neck and the back and the shoulders. Now, the intentions and the purpose that could go with this type of sequence could be to open yourself up, open up to changes and transitions, or show compassion for yourself or for others and loved ones. And a spiritual outcome can link to the concept maybe of loving kindness or karuna, as it's described in the Yoga Sutra as compassion. And then emotional attributes can link to empathy or joy, love, compassion again. So as you see, if you have a physical focus, you can then start analyzing what does this mean or how could this feel mentally, emotionally, spiritually, anything that comes up for you. Obviously, if you find it easier to start with a mental, emotional, or spiritual focus, you can start or build your sequence from there, and then after look at the physical attributes or the physical benefits of it. So create a sequencing bank for yourself of sequences that you can repurpose. And every time you repurpose it, it can have a different focus. So you're practicing the same asanas, the same order, the same thing, but your focus or the intention of the sequence is different. Yeah, so that's one way also to build confidence. Hi, Piyush. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I think I've got it wrong, but really nice to see you. So far, to gain confidence, your self-practice and creating a sequencing bank. Number 3 is repeat your sequences and cues. So we've already discussed that you can repeat your sequences with various themes or different purposes. And you also know, especially those that have been following me for a while, you know that that your repetition of everything is key. It's the only way to properly learn new information and embody a skill. And doing the same thing again and again and again may seem repetitive, but it's actually a really great opportunity to learn more and watch your progress. So seeing progress doesn't only make you feel good because you see that you're going on a journey from point A to point B, and probably by point B, you're feeling a lot better or greater or better at it. But it also gives you a sense of growth and achievement. This goes for you as a teacher, but it also counts for the people that go to your class, so your students. So when sequencing, there's too much focus. So there's much more focus on the order of the asanas. There's way more things that you can focus on. So think of the breath, your mindfulness, giving the students time and space to explore their practice, and observing your students as well, so that you can adjust to their speed, to their rhythm. Maybe you can offer variations or cues that really benefit them. And when a student gets the opportunity to repeat something, they will also be able to focus on these things and become independent practitioners. So rather than being dependent on you as a teacher and on your cues, they can now explore the practice for themselves. And this is really important if you want to guide your students on a long-lasting journey. So repetition also allows you to keep your eyes and to keep your ears open and stay curious about what you're teaching, first of all. And it gives you a chance to check your cues actually make sense. Because what makes sense for you doesn't necessarily make sense for your students. You probably have a lot more experience and you've heard these cues on repeat, but your students are still getting used to. So by repeating things, you're helping them to explore that journey and to make sense to everything that you're saying. It also allows you to refine your cues and not just copy what your teachers say or what your teachers do, but to really develop your own voice and your own style of teaching. So it gives you a lot of great opportunities to optimize your sequence and your cues so that your students can truly benefit from your teachings. So always ask yourself why and what and how, and then try out things on yourself and decide if the cues work for your students, and if not, how you can refine them. Note as well that when it comes to repetition, you are less likely to repeat things several times if you focus on the details. So if you're cueing in your first round, you get really specific on the details, it will result in that your sequences and cues are more specific, and for that reason also a lot clearer. Now, if you aren't specific enough, your students will keep making the same mistakes or deal with the same issues. And for that reason, you feel like you have to repeat yourself a lot. And you can avoid that by becoming more specific in the first round or the first time that you're introducing something. Hello, everyone. We've got Walking in Pasos and Los Mundos de Desu. What are your names, lovely? Can you write it in the comments? Hi, Anna. How are you doing, darling? So for all new sequences that you write, I suggest that you teach it, fine-tune them for at least a month. So you take a month to try it out and fine-tune, so refine your cues, your asanas. And in order to not feel too repetitive, The teacher is usually the only one that's bothered by this. Change up the theme, change up the intention, use different types of cues, play with the things that you already have, that you already know, and build up from there. And one day you can focus on the mechanics, body parts, and anatomy. Another day you can use a theme like compassion or acceptance, and expand your skills and your vocabulary by exploring different types of language, including metaphors, maybe stories, anecdotes, everything or anything that goes with your class, the sequence that you already have. Now, in the Yoga Vocabulary Builder that we offer on the English for Yoga Teachers course, and those that did the Teach Yoga in English course bundle, they've already received this vocabulary builder, but it really helps you to receive quotes, vocabulary, expressions, synonyms that you can use to expand your vocabulary and not feel as repetitive when you're sequencing. So I recommend that you have a look at this if you feel stuck with finding new words or if you want to try out something else. So speaking about how to gain confidence in your sequencing, we've already mentioned 3 things, and I'm going to repeat very quickly for those that joined us later. The very first thing is your self-practice, then creating your own sequencing bank, and we've got repeating sequences and cues. Then, moving on, cultivating consistency. Now, just as repetition, you and your students benefit from consistency because we live in a very busy society and we don't always have the time or the energy to practice 24/7. So when people go to a yoga class, they love knowing what they're going to receive. So what you are going to teach and how you're going to teach it. What you're going to teach. So even the adventure seekers among us love the grounding and reassurance and predictability that they can receive in a yoga class. Often students opt for a teacher or a type of yoga that they know they will enjoy. And most of these students choose a teacher for their style, their approach, their personality, and the consistency with which they do these things. That means, think of yourself going onto YouTube and practicing with a teacher. That means that you often go with the same person, or that when you are having a low day, a day that you're not feeling great, you go with someone that you already know because you know what you will get and you love it and you want to get that consistency from them. So if your classes are too different every time, for example, you often change your teaching style and your approach, or you change your words or the format, they can seem very random to your students. And when your classes are too random, you can't observe postural skill level or the progress that your students make. So that means that your students will learn less about the asanas, about asana families, changes or progression in their practice, because they have no reference, they have no earlier experience that they can compare to. So they have no progress that they can compare from the last time that they practiced this with you and now. So it's repetition that's important, but also your consistency. Not offering these benefits will eventually cause your students to go with a teacher that does offer consistency, or not be consistent with their practice, so they don't practice as often. Random classes mean that you teach by focusing on different physical outcomes, or that you completely change your style. For example, if you have taken the What's Your Style of Teaching Voice quiz, you know about the styles that I speak about. If you haven't taken this quiz yet, the link is in my bio and you find it in the Facebook group as well. But in the quiz, you find out about different styles of teaching voices. Now, if one day you speak as a complete technical leader and only focus on the mechanics, on the body, on instructions, and then another day you're very emotional and you speak maybe about spiritual things. Your style is completely different. It's okay to combine them, but it's important that you have a little bit of these aspects than in all your classes. Even though you can still include technical and emotional language in your classes, your students want to get to know you, and with time, practicing and following your guidance, but still be comforted by knowing you and your classes, and that they only vary so much. So not that actually means they don't vary too much, because they know what they are going to get from you. They need to know that even if your class content varies, so your sequences and your asanas are different, you will always offer consistency in some fundamental ways, like your voice, your language, your areas of knowledge, your emphasis on certain outcomes, and your values. So this, your consistency, just as repetition, means that the practitioner knows that each class is going to be a source of progress for them. Yes, so consistency in your teaching will give them a much greater sense of development. So that's another way to gain confidence. The last thing is teaching private classes. And for many students, for many teachers, this can feel a little bit challenging or scary, because being with a student one-to-one means obviously that you have a lot more interaction and that you can get very detailed questions that you may or may not have an answer to. But teaching private classes is an extremely great opportunity for you to gain confidence, because they give you the unique opportunity to work with students one-to-one. And it also gives you the opportunity to get different bodies inside and out and become very acquainted with what's challenging, what feels intuitive, what's logical, or what simply feels good in a body that's different from your own. Because very often when you teach things that feel good for you and have worked for you. But as a yoga teacher, you know that this doesn't count for every single person. So teaching one-to-one gives you really great and unique insights into different bodies. Now, private classes are also an excellent way to test new sequences and cues and asanas. So during class, or when you finish the class, you have the chance to speak to your students in a private way. So it's really personal, and receive feedback and much greater insight into what works and what doesn't work for them. And also what works and what doesn't work potentially for other people. So you can use this in a more direct and honest contact with your students and get one-to-one classes to gain more experience and confidence, obviously, because that's what we're here for today, to prepare you for bigger groups or bigger classes and even more challenges or challenging students in the future. So make use of that opportunity. So to summarize, for those that have joined us later, we're on Instagram and on Facebook. Let me quickly check if there are comments or you have questions. If you have them, Instagram and on Facebook, let me quickly check if there are. Write them in the comments. Write your questions in the comments, everyone. Hi, Martin. Oh, wow, you left a lot of comments here. I don't understand your language, Martin. What language are you writing us in? Seems like there's a bit of Spanish, but I don't recognize it. Can you write to me in English, please? So yes, to summarize, for those that join us later, we focused on how to build confidence in your sequencing. And we looked at 5 different ways to do so. So we've got our self-practice, creating your sequencing bank, repeating sequences and cues, cultivating consistency, and offering private classes. So have a look at these things for yourself. maybe reflect on how this is going for you right now. Excuse me very much. WhatsApp was still on, and reflect on how this is going for you now. Reflect on the things that you can improve. And if you need any help or feedback on this, always feel free to send me a message or ask any questions that you may have. I want to remind you very quickly as well of the International Yoga Teacher Summit, and I'm super excited for this. It's from the 19th to the 21st of August, and it's in collaboration with about 20 other yoga teachers and organizations. It's completely free, and it's 3 days of master classes, interviews, training, Q&As, and lots of other events to help you build your career. So we're going to focus on gaining confidence in your sequencing and your teaching skills, but also your business and how to write your CV, maybe think of insurance and travel permits, so your visas, how to gain visibility online, how to build your community, all stuff like that. The event is completely free, so have a look at the link in my bio. Also have a look on Facebook if you haven't registered yet. And the wait list for the English for Yoga Teachers course is open. So on the English for Yoga Teachers course, you will be joining me for 4 months, and we have weekly conversation classes and teaching practices. And then we have 4 weekends in which we focus on the development of your teaching skills and your business skills. So it's a very thorough course that covers a lot of the things that I always speak about here on Instagram and on Facebook, but in way more depth and completely personalized to the goals and objectives that you have for your teaching career. So you will learn how to read bodies online, how to refine your cues, how to write your sequences and theme them so they can be more intentional and well-rounded. You will learn how to write a mindfulness script and do this with loads of intention and effectiveness, and all of the business. So how to set up your business, your social media, your content for social media, creating offerings and attracting the right people to your classes. So it's very thorough. So we have the waitlist open. Link is in my bio too. I want to remind those that do not have the funds or they encounter themselves in challenging situations that we have scholarships available. The scholarship eligibility you can find in the link in my bio as well. I've created a page for it, and the applications close on Sunday the 7th, so Sunday coming, if you are watching this live with me. So check out if you're eligible, and if you have questions about it or you're not sure, also feel free to reach out to me. All right, so there's a lot of things to think about. First of all, gaining confidence in your sequencing, sign up for the summit, check out the English for Yoga Teachers course, and if you want to apply for a scholarship position. All right. Any questions, anyone? Write them in the comments. I don't see anything coming in here. I don't see anything here. If you go through the day, or if you are watching this with the replay, always feel free to send me a message as well. I'm here for you for whatever you need. And I can't wait to see you all on the summit, and hopefully as well on the English for Yoga Teachers course. Sending you all lots of love, and see you on Wednesday next week. And we're going to speak about how to memorize your sequences. Yes, I'm going to give you tips and tools to memorize your sequences, and don't feel stressed about them when you're on the mat or when you're focusing on your students. All right, sending you lots of love, everyone. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Hi, Juana. We've just finished, but for free. Oh, Baloo too. So Juana and Baloo, we've just finished our chat, but feel free to watch the replay. Yeah. See you all soon, lovelies.